Good morning, everyone. And today we're going to talk about the influence of our human evolution on our mental and emotional balance or imbalance. Now, I think that knowing a bit about our evolution can give us an insight as to why us humans do certain things and think certain ways. And whether they're right or wrong, we can actually carry those thoughts, feelings, and emotions from our childhood right throughout our adult life. And it is those which create the authentic or non authentic individual that we become. Now, as we've learned, the ancient human stress response involves the physical fight or flight response, which also in the moment involves changes to our mental and emotional balance. Now, if you can get that point, you're miles ahead of the average person, so good job. Now, from a state of happy, sociable, productive, creative, and calm to an on guard, hyper alert, and even aggressive state. And these are only a few of the changes. One way is designed for living our life to the full, and the other for simply being on continual guard duty, waiting for a threat to emerge. And that is where we get the saying, a person's cup is half full or half empty attitude or outlook to life. And as we've learned, our stress response is triggered by a tiny ancient brain the size of a pea called the reptilian brain, which sits at the base of our real brain. Now, believe it or not, most people don't know about that. It is thought it evolved about 2 billion years ago, well before the first pre human creatures ever existed. And it exists today in virtually every living creature on the planet. All the information from the senses situated all around, over, and inside our body, which reflect the world around us, first pass through this tiny pea-sized brain called the reptilian brain. It has one simple job, and that is to decide from the information coming in from all of our senses if there is a threat to our life around us or not. If it does sense a threat, then it triggers the rest of our brain to fire up the stress response. And it does that by, among other things, filling our whole body with powerful hormones. How it all evolved, I can only guess, but consider this. There are 4 essential needs for all humans, in fact all creatures: food, water, shelter, and to reproduce. But they only have a value if we are alive. So the primary objective is to stay alive. Therefore, the first priority of our ancient ancestors was to be aware of anything and everything around them that could be dangerous. Anything that might want to harm them or kill them, they could avoid. And that included recognizing anything that is not familiar in the moment. Something's changed. Why has it changed? That could be dangerous. Now, that reaction has become a very successful survival trait. It is automatic and happens without us thinking, so the individual creature can get on with their life to find daily food, water, shelter, and reproduction. Now, over millions of generations later, our reptilian brain is still programmed to be automatically and constantly on guard, on the lookout, and assessing everything it encounters as potentially dangerous. That means everything, and it is operating every millisecond of every day. Now, think about that. Our brain is still working the same way as it did for our ancient ancestors millions of years ago. But in our modern world, the ongoing concern and worry doesn't simply come from the ancient and very final dangers, such as being eaten by a prehistoric, whatever it may be, killed during intertribal skirmishes, or even by a famine or drought. As these things may have been very final, but they simply didn't happen very often. But it comes from the ongoing influence and subconscious continual worry and concerns from things like losing your job, dangerous relationships, money issues, that's a big one, embarrassing ourselves in public, that's a biggie, getting a life-threatening disease, social media influence, huge, because social media influencers cover most of these other things. Televised news reports, big one. bad lifestyle habits, huge, and heaps of other common worries. Now, I'll put up that list of stress-creating influences again in the comments section below. Have a look at it. Compare your situation. Now, most of these ongoing worries never happen. And yet us adults are subconsciously living with the daily concern. And worse, we can be subconsciously passing that sense of concern onto our children, which is the natural way things happen. Now, ironically, it appears that many modern parents have never been taught why you do not have adult conversations around children of any age. There's a really good reason. They're simply not ready for it, and they worry. So, unlike our ancient ancestors, what is different now is that we can be subconsciously and continually worrying about a lot of things in our life that will never ever happen because they are not real. They only exist on social media devices or movies or in another country through the news media and in our subconscious mind. Consequently, our stress response stays on alert and never gets the chance to calm down as it was designed to do, and it never gets the chance to repair every night as it is designed to do when we sleep. Because we can't sleep, because our cortisol, the stress hormone levels, are too high, because we are stressed. Yep, pretty straightforward. And this also creates an automatic loop which also adds to keeping our stress response activated and those stress hormones flooding throughout our body without let up, along with a highly sensitized nervous system. Oh, as if we need it, eh? And we end up viewing the world around us as very dangerous and threatening. Now, over the years, eventually we begin to wear out at a biochemical and emotional level, and our mental and emotional balance gradually moves out of alignment or balance. Now, it does this in order for us to cope with living a life in this seemingly extremely dangerous environment that we find ourselves in until the danger passes and then it fades away. But because we don't know better, it never passes. We inadvertently keep ourselves stuck in that same old stressful life. Now, remember in an earlier video we said that the stress response of our ancient ancestors was activated approximately 10 times per 24 hours. In today's world, because of all these stressful influences, the stress response is activated around 150 times per 24 hours, which common sense can show you gives no time for our body to calm down, rest and repair, and the stress hormones to reduce, and the sensitized nervous system to reduce before the next day begins. So they accumulate. And there's a lesson there for all of us, you'd agree? And those stress hormones, sensitized nervous system, and a highly active stress response being triggered again and again and again means our brain is becoming highly inflamed, sensitized, and our ancient electromagnetic brain waves are falling out of synchronization as even our brain works past its natural and efficient balance. And all of this ancient response is happening in order to keep us on guard duty to survive each day in a world that appears so dangerous to our ancient reptilian brain. Now, for what it's worth, I think humans are not designed for the lifestyle we are presently experiencing. Is it simply too much? Well, it turns out that no human, and in fact no animal, is designed to be under threat or on guard duty, searching for a potential danger 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever. And yet, it's life that many humans have ended up with. Now, going forward, by proactively managing that sense of stress and creating time in our busy life to let the stress response subside and allow us to experience a period of calm is critical in our future. Ironically, it is something that most of us have never been taught how to do, and yet science knows all about it. Consequently, At times in our life, our mental and emotional balance can swing out of kilter and cause us great concern. But never forget that it is also naturally designed to swing back into balance, and that is why it is called a progressive disorder. And that is very important to know.